What's going on, everybody? All right, I just finished having a little group chat with a couple of my boys here, discussing whether civilians need helmets. We broke it down to the three categories. You got the Kevlar helmet, basically, ballistic protection. The traditional bump helmet, you bump your head into something, you don't wind up hearing like AT&T dial tone signals. And the other part, which is no helmet, ball cap, soft cap, whatever, watch cap. Here's my take on it. A lot of people, I look at this as what civilians use. I don't look at this as military applications because I don't think that's applicable. Um, I'll do another video on that because I got friends that are the high speed dudes, like they did that shit for a long time, black bagging, zip time motherfuckers in places where people speak durka durka. And a lot of times in conversations with them, they have to come down from the mindset of the kit they used to carry while doing that job because now they're civilians. And the helmets are a perfect example. So in the process of conversation, we're getting a helmet, okay, which is kind of funny because like I look at the helmet thing as it is important if you're gonna do like some like voodoo nefarious shit, like for real, because it's real easy to get hit in the head by somebody with like a hammer or something, fall down the stairs, all kinds of wild stuff when you're doing stupid stuff, okay? But for that, that's a bump helmet. A bump helmet is basically something that protects your head in case you get bumped or knocked. And in America right now, I mean, you could be driving to go to Walmart and find yourself in a mob full of people and get hit in the head with a skateboard or something. So bump helmets, in my opinion, for civilian use is more than enough. You don't got to go to the Kevlar. I'll talk about the Kevlar, not the Kevlar, but the ballistic protection. Bump helmets. Yes, bump helmet, you can have yourself, your small LED red light, your white light, so it can help you hands-free have light on whatever you're gonna do. That's not a bad thing to have in a bad situation, especially if you find yourself having to like go through your bag, fix your car, take care of, somebody that's with you that's injured or stuff like that. Take care of something in front of you like a lock or something like that. Just saying, bump helmets protect your head. Plus, they give you some utility with the lights. And you could also drop nods on them. Like I said, when you're going to go do voodoo nefarious shit, there you go. It's just one of those things. Now, that being said, there are people going to be, no, I need ballistic protection in case I get a shot to the head. I'm thinking to myself, like, that's such a fucking rarity that at the end it just doesn't make any sense. Now let me just talk about this. The concept of the ballistic helmet has been around for a long time, since trench warfare started. The idea of protecting a soldier's head, peeking up, catching a shot. So the Army did some testing back like in '82 when they thought that the Third Army in Germany was going to battle the Russians, and it was going to be like trench warfare and stuff like that. So they came out with the whole very heavy Kevlar helmet. Remember those big ones? It looked like Darth Vader. A lot of neck injuries were due to that one, but nonetheless, who's going to be in trench warfare taking a shot from 300-400 yards out? It just doesn't apply to the civilian world. It doesn't. Now, getting hit in the head with a beer bottle during, let's say, some disturbance that happens in your community in front of your house, or let's say some uprising that happens when you're trying to drive home, having a bump helmet is not a bad thing. You look kind of crazy. You'll be the only one with a helmet, but you also will be the only one that doesn't get a concussion. Bump helmets have their place, and I'll run down some options. Having a bump helmet with some eye protection stored on it, that's another thing. Protect your eyes. You'll get One of the biggest casualty, and anybody that's ever been in some nefarious shit, I'm gonna tell you one of the wildest things that could happen, and it's a very bad thing, getting something in your eyes. So definitely, if you have a bump helmet or you have a ballistic helmet, make sure you have some eye protection strapped onto it, clipped onto it. You can definitely get that, because if you get something in your eye, smoke, debris, anything like that, you have to understand that could take your vision out of the fight or out of the flight for safety. So you definitely want to make sure that you're not in a situation like that. What the fuck? So eye protection is important. So my advice for civilians, a bump helmet, red LED lights. Surefire still makes them, click, white, red, that kind of stuff. You'll be amazed how helpful that is. Listen, go down the staircase with red light. Nobody see you coming. For those who want to spend a couple of grand and get into MVG goggles and stuff like that, hey, that's great. But you're not going to have the MVG on you. What are you going to do? You're going to store it in your car? You're going to put a $3,000 night vision equipment in your car, store it? You're going to keep it in your bag with you? No. But keeping, a very powerful red LED bump helmet light, that gets you a long way, especially if you're walking through dark streets at night and you don't want to cause any attention from a distance. That red light, if there's no power going on, trust me, red light will help you a lot. But like I said, for me, a bump helmet's important because getting hit in the head, it's real easy to get fucked up if you get hit in the head. And it could be by accident, falling, people doing some wild stuff. And listen, don't think it's weird. Look what happened in Chicago, where people were attacking cars inside of a tunnel. Now think about that for a second. Where do you think you're gonna get your first injury, your first physical bodily injury? Your foot? Your knee? Your hip? Your shoulder? No, the first physical injury that you're gonna get from a mob or a bunch of bad whatever is gonna be a hit to the head. So obviously, having that to protect your head, it's just one of those things where people, unfortunately, head wounds don't fuck around. You can screw up a shoulder, an elbow. You can do a lot of things. I mean, you catch a head injury, that's game changer. You won't stick around for the rest of the apocalypse festivities. All right, but let me give you some things. If you want, you go to T-Rex Arm. You got the MTX Strike Ballistic Helmet, okay? That's going for, right now, $1,175. Okay. If you get that, it covers a lot of the head, okay? That's this guy right here, okay? If you were in an environment where it is possible that you can get capped in the head, by a bullet, yeah, I would say that. I don't really think that's an application for America, Canada, stuff like that. If you're living in one of the badlands of, the Middle East, yeah, that wouldn't be bad. But try explaining that when you get stopped, at a customs checkpoint. Mexico, some of the places, considering what you're dealing with there, you're dealing with technically military weapons, people spraying communities down. I'll still go with the bump helmet. It's much lighter. But if you find yourself needing that, the MTech Strike Ballistic Helmet, it has level 3A performance. It's 2 pounds compared to the other weird, listen, let me tell you another myth people don't understand. Yeah, it's 2 pounds. It's 2 pounds for that. Then you throw your battery pack. Then you throw your nods. Then you throw your lights. Then you clip on your eye protection. Okay. Then you throw your hearing protection. You clip them on. What do you think that thing weighs? And it's on your head, moving around. You wanna feel pain at the end of the day? Fuck around like that. Okay. But in the event of the one stray bullet that's gonna hit your head, hey. If you want to do it, go right ahead, But yeah, I don't think that's worth it. I mean, if it's your job, like law enforcement, going through a door and stuff like that, and I get it. But we're not talking about you motherfuckers. Giant hugs. We're talking about the average Joe that works at FedEx, that finds himself one day driving home and there's like 45 motherfuckers causing problems, breaking windows in cars, beating up on drivers. It just happened right now in Chicago. It just happened. I won't even play the video here because YouTube will take down this video. But what do you do when somebody, like you see this happen, you see people getting dragged and beat up, whatever? Yeah, go to your firearm, of course. Make sure that people understand a couple of warning rounds to get away from you. But what if you're going to get an injury to the head? It's just going to happen. Hey, it's just part of it. So my thing, having a bump helmet with the lights, the eye protection on it, you really can't go wrong with that. Now, when you go to the Ops Core Fast SF helmet, it's $149. Okay, I'll put it right here. It's a little bit less protection on the head because it's not designed for bullets. It's designed to protect the head. So you got $149. Okay. Now with that sucker, it's good ventilation. Your head's not gonna get hot. It's very lightweight. It's still gonna be, listen. It's still gonna, once you put on all that shit, it's still gonna have some weight to it. But at the end of the day, look, I'm gonna give you an example. They'll tell you, well, it's only 2 pounds. It's only 3 pounds. When you get that sucker kitted up, you know what's on your head? It's fine, because the only time you're gonna need that helmet with your goggles, your battery packs, your ear protect, the whole thing is when you're about to do some voodoo nefarious shit and start, whatever. So it doesn't matter. That's when you wear your plates and the whole thing. But the average guy is not gonna do that. Never, ever, ever. Like, for real. It's just not gonna happen. It's just when things get bad. A bump helmet, let me tell you something. Bump helmets are important, especially if you're ever thinking about going into a building to go fuck some people up. It's the truth, Look, I live overseas, okay? 911, you think it's a joke in America? 911 on here is like, who? Yo, no, don't call here no more. We don't do those scary shit. So overseas, you deal with people that are like kidnappers, extortionists, roving bands of criminals, So there might come a time where, I have to go do some fucking horrendous toe-twisting things. And if that's the case, I want to protect my head, because chances are I'm going to get a doorway, something, whatever. Somebody's going to do a hit. It could be anything, literally, like for real. And people who have ever fought like another man, like, understand that sometimes things happen, like your foot slips off a curb, a staircase, or you think you're going in a room. Guess what? He's coming out of the room, and all of a sudden you find yourself falling back. The last thing you want to do is to take a corner of a wall to the side of the head. Bump helmets, bump helmets, bump helmets. If you want to go with the whole ballistic type stuff like that, that's on you. I just don't believe it's even applicable for the average citizen. I just don't think it is. It's not. Same thing with plates. I have a certain feeling with plates, but they'll protect you if a bullet comes. I'm going to be honest with you. I'll do a whole video on it. People don't believe me when I'm saying. Okay, fine. So you're protecting your main vitals in your chest, your lungs and your heart. Okay, and you got it in your back as well to protect your lungs and your heart. And that your abdomen is kind of exposed. So is your legs. You get hit in an artery in a bad situation where there's not emergency care happening, you're going to bleed out. But your heart and your lungs were protected. And you go, no, but that protection is great. Okay, great. I get it. Have your plates. But it's gonna weigh you down. And at the end of the day, it's gonna make you more visible. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you're gonna go do some voodoo nefarious shit somewhere, and you know that you're specifically gonna go to fuck some people up, like, you make that decision, you have that moment where you're like, I'll talk to you later, Jesus, that kind of stuff, yeah, then it's fine. Then you do that. But as a civilian, I'll give you an example. Be very careful how I word things. All right, let's just say, hypothetically, things are going crazy in society and whatever. And then you find out when you get home, it's like, oh my God, that those group of people over there, they took the kids and the dog, like that kind of stuff. And you have to like go get your family and the dog too, because the dog's like, yo, what the fuck? I didn't do nothing. Like, for real, I was just here chilling out in the air conditioning. All of a sudden the fan stopped. Yeah, if it's a situation like that you're going to confront individuals where they're at and they may be armed and it's going to be, it's going to be a direct contact. Yeah, plates, head, yeah. Because what are you going to do? You're not going to go there to talk to them. You're not going to go, hi, listen, we had a misunderstanding. No, you're going to go there hard and fast and fuck people up cold. I could understand the plate and all that kind of stuff, because right there, you're going to become a bullet sponge. I get that. But overall, on the daily, no. That's why I feel about the ballistic helmet. I'm like, what are the chances of you taking a round to the head? The weight thing, it doesn't. You're not in the military. That doesn't even make any sense. What if you catch a round to the neck? You think only one's coming? Yeah. So my thing, I look at these helmets and I'm like, okay, do you spend $1,000 in change to get yourself a ballistic helmet, or do you spend $149 and get a bump helmet that gives you the same tactical applications of the $1,000 helmet? It's just one of those things. I would go with the bump helmet. You can go to the other one, the OpsCore Fast High Cut helmet. That's $2,000. It's $1,940. Okay, that's this guy. Okay. At the end of the day, if your job requires to deal with situations where you can get capped in the head, I get it. That's a good thing. But if your job is not that, you're just a regular guy. At the end of the day, you're at home and, things go bad. The bank's shut down. There's no money. There's robbery, there's homes invasions, things that are happening in America right now either way. A bump helmet's more than enough. It's just my feeling. You can chime in on it and let me know whether you think, no, you have to get ballistic protection for the head. No. My setup on a bump helmet is real simple. Red LEDs are on my right side, and if you get because the white one I keep on the left. Why? I don't make sure that I want to make sure no matter what happens, I don't light up an area where I'm not supposed to. That's when you're gonna go do some sneaky ninja shit on people. The eye protection, keep it clipped on, so you can just put them on. It's real simple. Real simple. As far as NVGs, I'll talk about that in another video. They have applications. They really do. But once again, do they have applications on what you're going to do? Because NVG, I'll do another video on that. They're expensive. And unless you're going to go do some, some ninja shit and fuck people up at night, you really don't need it. You don't. It's just not one of those things. Also, as a civilian, what are you gonna do? You're gonna, during a disturbance or something, you're gonna go low light, no light, drop your NVGs on, and you're gonna cap a couple of people in front of your building, and then later on, when the prosecutor has you there, and it's like, okay, the defendant killed all the lights in his home, and he engaged these people, and he took them out with night vision. Do you understand how that's going to sound? Because eventually somebody's going to have to answer for those bodies. Okay? It's just going to happen. Starbucks will open up again one day, and all of a sudden it's like, who's the dead dude? How did he get here? What are you going to be doing? You're going to be after everything's done, you're going to be involved in getting rid of bodies. You want to make sure as a civilian you're clean on whatever you do. Unless you live overseas, because that's different. And you just take a motherfucker to the ocean with a brick and some rope. What body? I haven't seen no body. But you were on that boat with another person. No way. I've gained some weight lately. That's why you probably saw me at a distance. You can't just smoke motherfuckers and get away with it in a civilian society like in America or Canada. It'll come back to you. You're gonna have to answer for that, okay? So my thing is this. Let's go back to the original thing. The helmet. I do not believe civilians need level 3 armor for the head. I do believe they need a good bump helmet. I do believe at the end of the day, they need to have the availability to have red light, white light. It's going to be very helpful. Eye protection, LED white light, red light, and that's basically it. Protect your head. You chime in on the bottom, let me know. Ballistic helmet or bump helmet for civilians? There you go.